Yum, yum. It's time for a tasty and refreshing snack.
You know who I can do without? I can do without the people in the video store.
Which ones?
All of them. They never rent quality flicks. They always pick the most intellectually devoid movie on the racks.
And now, on with the show.
See, but Billy Ray was the only one that really knew where the diamonds were.
Yeah! Hey, Billy Ray, Frankenstein's a dream.
Now you have them. I want them.
Clay Osborne, I'm here to help you.
Get off of me!
Tell him I want the broad back here alive.
Jump it!
Samantha Rourke is a cop. Her mission is revenge. She hits hard, and she's deadly. No one can stop her now.
That's kind of funny, sleeping with your partner.
I think it's just the first time that you've met someone that's your equal. On the streets and in bed.
Hey guys, what's going on? You are listening to ThisWeekInGeek.net's Loose Cannon, a show where we open the door to the video shelves of yesteryear. That means big box VHS, lost Blu-rays, DVDs, stuff that may only have appeared on television once, but we somehow found it. I am one of your video store clerks today. I am Mike the Birdman. I'm joined from the great land of Kitchener with
Alex, the producer, completely snowed in.
And my friend from the great land of Michigan, who seems to have a knowledgeum of all things campy, crappy, and amazing.
I'm Aaron, and I'm also snowed in.
Yeah, it is a lovely snowy evening as we record this podcast.
We got a foot over the course of like 12 hours.
Yeah, they have closed some of the hills, and the plows are maybe coming out right now. So it's going to be a fun night inside.
We had them come out once already, and I heard on the radio that they're going to be doing it all throughout the night, which is something they don't usually do.
Yeah, so we will wait and see whether I manage to get out tomorrow, because I'm not optimistic about that, but we'll wait and see.
So, it was a perfect day to watch whatever we watched.
Yes. So tonight's double feature that we're going to be talking to you about are two movies that came out in the late 1980s. We're going to be talking about Action U.S.A, which was known as Above the Law when it came out theatrically in the Philippines.
But, you know, there was another movie that came out a year earlier called that here, so they kind of couldn't do it.
Yeah, they kind of couldn't do it. And then the other movie we're going to be talking about is so... I dare almost say obscure, because it doesn't have a Wikipedia page. It barely has an IMDb page.
Exactly. What movie has a Blu-ray but no Wikipedia?
Yeah, it was called American Rampage. And, well, we're both going to get into these movies tonight. So, very quick initial thoughts from me. I actually really liked Action USA because it was like discount Lethal Weapon at time, and most of the leads are pretty likable. The stunts are actually really good, which actually kind of surprised me. But it was directed by a former stuntman who kept kind of doing stuff all throughout his career. As far as I know, he's still active today. That's Jon Stewart. I had a good time with it. The other movie, I can't tell you what happened other than the ending involved a grenade. It was very blah.
Yeah, I have seen some strange things in my day. Well, you know, okay, this isn't American Rampage isn't near the top of the strange things, but I'm baffled why it was made.
Yeah, it's like I was talking in our little group chat that we have for production for this show, and I called it's like a really long episode of Miami Vice, because it's like trope after trope, except with nudity a lot of it, by the way, guns and blood, and that's it.
Okay. My thoughts,
Yeah,
dude.
go
just
for it.
off the top of my head, because I watched both of these back to back today.
As did I. Yep.
And I know Aaron watched them. You watched them earlier, right?
Yeah, I watched them a couple days ago, at least.
Yeah. So they're fresh in my mind. With Action USA, it was some of the probably like the most car explosions for a 90-minute movie I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But more so than that, what really stuck out in my mind is for having a ton of, first of all, people set on fire or people falling off of bridges or buildings or anything. It had the most amount of stunt falls I've seen in a movie that didn't use any dummies.
Yep.
Yeah,
practical.
So that's what I remember. That and the star is like discount Kmart Michael Biehn.
Yep. Yeah.
And it had Cameron Mitchell in there, so awesome. And of course, Cameron Mitchell scenes where he's doing basically nothing but being in a hot tub.
Yeah, just sitting around and like porking women, and
which if you're like a Red Letter Media fan, that's kind of his thing for like the last 10 years of his career.
Yeah, just being drunk and like sitting on a couch or a chair, and yeah, that's it. It's Cameron Mitchell being Cameron Mitchell.
Yeah, that and then the second movie with American Rampage, yes, it was an HD transfer, but it was shot on film, but somehow still managed to look like it was shot on video because of how, I guess, poor their lighting person was. They just captured whatever natural light there was and were like, yeah, we'll just move on.
Did you notice that the sound just cuts out in it too?
Yes, the sound cuts out. The sound sounded like they were using like the sound from the dailies, or that it was recorded on a separate tape recorder and not on the actual film camera.
Yeah, it was badly recorded on set, and then they didn't do ADR for some of it. I think my description of American Rampage was in our chat. This is barely a movie. It's multiple 5-minute shorts, barely strung together with nudity and violence.
Well, and this is the thing, and for how I went back, and for every scene of a stuntman falling out of a building or falling out of a car on fire or falling off of a bridge or just falling in general, in the first movie, there was an equal amount of random gratuitous nudity in the second film.
Oh yeah, and it's
for no reason, no plot reasons.
I did not watch American Rampage with Darlene. It was so gratuitous. I had to actually sit down Darlene at one point and go, Darlene, now look at this. We've seen some weird things watching Hammer films for Earth vs. Zoop that haven't been released yet. But this is gratuitous. There's no purpose to it.
And not just that, we're talking like long 30-second shots of them oiling themselves up for no reason.
Yeah, that was so weird. It's like, why is
shots?
this here? Yeah.
You forget the shower scene, which is almost 2.5 minutes uncut of nudity.
Yeah, but I just think every time they cut to somebody around the pool, the camera doesn't move.
Oh yeah, it's just
nobody talks. It's just there.
Yep. Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
It's just there to fill film. So
the movie is like an hour and 27 minutes long, and like 15 minutes is just that.
Yeah, and I don't know. There's some. So I guess before we go any further, which one do we want to talk about first? The one we liked or the one we hated?
Let's just go with Action USA first.
Okay, so
and only for the reason that I have my tab open to that.
Okay. Okay, so Action USA is a movie that was directed by Jon Stewart. Some of the things that he's done that are kind of notable: he was the stunt coordinator on Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He was he was the stunt coordinator or the stunt player, in some of the Phantasm movies. He did Night of the Demons, which is a pretty significant horror movie from that kind of era. He actually was a stunt coordinator on Creepazoids, and the only reason I mention that because that has a connection to American Rampage, which we'll talk about next. Somehow he was a stunt coordinator on Munchies, which is like the discount Gremlins kind of ripoff, and
yeah.
And then he also did Leprechaun 3 because we all needed to see that. And then evidently he was the stunt coordinator for his own movie called Fall Guy, the Jon Stewart story. So this movie is actually kind of notable because I was looking through Twitter. I was curious to know if the actress had a Twitter account. I was just kind of curious. I'm like, because some of these people who do B movies, they do a lot of conventions. And turns out this was screened at the Alamo Draft House a couple of years ago, and she did a signing there. So going down through the rabbit hole of IMDb trivia, evidently the director's wife was really mad at the actor. I think her name is Barry
Murphy.
Barry Murphy. The director's wife was mad at her because she wouldn't wear a bra on set.
Yeah, and she wore a fairly tight top. You could tell that she wasn't wearing a bra, and likely the director was looking at her. I mean, to be fair, out of all the like kind of exploitation-ish movies that I've seen, this one doesn't linger on her chest much. The camera doesn't linger there, but you can tell that likely what the attitude that she had in this, because I read that same thing too. She probably got told by the director's wife, "Don't wear you need to wear a bra because you're poking through your top, and every guy on here is drooling over you," because she's a good looking woman, and she probably said, at least even when Darlene brought this idea up, she probably said, "Screw you, I'm going to do this entirely without a bra," and she never has a bra on any time during this movie.
I also found out by looking through some of the trivia that in the opening moments of this movie, there's this souped up Corvette that Corvette still exists today and is still being driven around to certain shows. Evidently, I think it was found by somebody involved with the movie. They're like, "Hey, can we use your car? We'll pay you, blah, blah, blah." The rest is now history. But I was surprised that vehicle still exists. And I'm not a car guy by any stretch of the imagination, but you'd think having a big thing in front of your field of view would distract from your ability to make accurate decisions on the road. But hey, what the fuck do I know? I only had my driver's license for a couple years.
Yeah, I mean, supposedly it's like a 500 horsepower engine with a 600 horsepower like blower on top of it that has nitrous. And you never really see this car being used for anything besides slightly aggressive city driving where you're doing like 35 and a 25.
Yeah, sorry, Alex, go ahead.
Doesn't it have like the drag car thing on the back of it?
Yeah.
It's for the parachute.
Yeah.
Now, does. Now, while I was watching this scene, I actually had a really fucked up thought. So, as Aaron said, they're doing slightly aggressive suburban driving. And I got to thinking, okay, you have this car that can do incredible things and speed and yada, yada, yada. But you're telling me you're going to drive it through a residential neighborhood. I don't exactly see Fast and the Furious going through the suburbs. But again, what do I know? So who wants to sum up this film, shall we say?
I can do it in like one sentence.
Go for it.
Okay.
And I say that as I pause.
Okay, I can try.
Okay, wait. Guy was showing off his car to his girlfriend. He's a little nervous when they go back to their place for sexy times. Bad guys show up because he has stolen diamonds from them, and they murder him, and she goes on the run with the FBI trying to stop it.
Yeah. And they randomly talk about Holland at one point, the land of ice and snow and tulips.
And you have to throw logic out the door because she'd be put in witness protection pretty much right away. The marshals would have come and got her. But instead, it's a couple of FBI guys that are just like, we're going to put you in a random motel that isn't a safe house.
Yeah, and they can never get a flight. Regardless of where they are, it's like they're in like Houston or something like that at the beginning. Houston, Dallas.
They're in one of the biggest hub flight centers.
I'm sorry, sir. The last flight sold out. Well, God damn it! I'm a federal agent.
First of all, FBI is going to have private jets that are permanently on the runway of Houston or the Delta hub. Even then,
they would contract somebody.
Hey, even if the FBI's private jets were in the air and weren't in the Houston area, they would, go to, I don't know, any private airport and just, if they had to, commandeer some dude's plane and fly away.
Yeah. With the importance of her boyfriend and the information that she had, because this guy had like a huge amount of diamonds that he was basically
millions, basically.
Yeah, millions and millions of dollars, and he kind of dropped hints to her about where these diamonds were, because he was a pretty poor criminal. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well, generally having vanity plates and flashing around your fancy car with your diamond money is not a good idea.
Yeah.
And they basically go on the run, and then it's a whole bad guys decide to call in like the crazy cavalry bad guys to stop them, and then there's infighting at some points between the different bad guys, and then they all have a shootout, and the one FBI guy gets kidnapped at some point.
Everybody gets kidnapped at some point in this.
That's what I'm saying. And they have a lot of people have car crashes where the cars explode awesomely, but in weird ways. Like the bad guys at the very beginning crash a car, pull out guns in front of a whole school bus full of teenagers who are right, by the way, next to an explosion where a car is on fire, but they are reacting with nothing, just staring and smiling and laughing and being like, wow, it's awesome that guy just blew up the car next to us that we're going to burn up alive in, and just watch him pull guns out in front of people, and they're like, yeah, cool.
This movie also contains far too many Duke Boy like jump sequence type things from like the Dukes of Hazzard, where they just jump randomly over things with their like FBI pool car. And
I counted at least 2 to 3 times where either the bad guys or the good guys yelled, "We're gonna jump it," and then they just jumped over a ravine.
Yes. And there's also, we need to talk about the Bob's Country bunker scene. I think we really need to talk about that.
The random honky tonk bar where the witness protection girl decides to go up on stage and sing in front of everybody.
Because why not,
right? The open racism towards the black FBI agent.
Yeah, that was like so surreal, because they're like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. It almost begs the question: was that scripted, or did it just happen and they kept it in?
It felt very uncomfortable. And I don't know. My opinion would be that it was scripted, just because the actor really went with it in a comedic way.
Yeah, and also, but again, Mike, you and I, we got friends in Texas, right?
Oh yeah, I've got tons of them.
Texas is a lot less openly racist like that than some of the other states would you'd be led to believe.
Yeah, like
so it's like if I was somebody in Texas watching that, I'd be like, that's not believable. At least not in like one of the big cities.
I want to say I read something that there was a reason that I know there was a controversy at some point. I remember reading this somewhere about this movie, that the movie didn't play well in Texas because it portrayed them all as these ignorant racist people, which like I said, I've got friends down in Texas. They've all been pretty nice to me, and I've been in the Dallas Fort Worth area. I've been mostly in the eastern part from Texas.
And yeah, like Mike, last time I checked, you're not white either, right?
Yeah, yeah, like I'm not exactly Caucasian, so it's like, all right.
I mean, I can't say I've been to Texas, but I don't believe that there's that kind of open racism, at least today. Maybe like, yeah, sure, maybe the 80s is a different place,
but that's also reserved for like West Virginia or the like
Alabama.
The hill people.
The hill people. I've been to West Virginia.
And you know what? And again, we've got people that listen and are friends in there, and you know what? You know what we mean.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've been to West Virginia.
We're not talking regular West Virginia. We're talking West Virginia, where if you drive up the wrong road, they have a shotgun pointed at you because they don't like outsiders. West Virginia.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've been to places in Arkansas that are like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what we're saying. Very small communities that are still like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie, I mean, it was fine. It was entertaining for all the explosions. The stunt work is fantastic.
Yeah,
absolutely.
One of my favorite stunts was that helicopter stunt.
Oh my god, the helicopter stunt!
That was full on Hong Kong style. You can't do it anymore. Super illegal.
Oh yeah,
no insurance. Like, dude, for real, dude dangling, and dangling to the point where there was nothing really holding him there except their hands and I think a belt.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw a belt, but yeah, like and the fact that they were flying in a certain flight ceiling through a city, super illegal. You would not get permits to do that in the 1980s. No,
that was
fucking
amazing.
Way.
That was amazing.
Like that was 100% we have to shoot it now and we get one shot at this because we are going to get in trouble pretty much right away when somebody sees us doing this.
Pretty much.
I actually looked up all the major aircraft in this movie that I could get tail numbers on. That helicopter is still alive, but it got sold to Eastern Europe.
Oh, wow.
So that it's still alive. The jet that comes in that they think Drago is going to walk off of is still in flight. Now, the actual airplane that Drago gets off of, the little experimental, it's called a Mini Mustang, believe it or not. It crashed in an air show in Texas.
Oh, God.
So it's gone. But yeah, I found that out. That aircraft's dead. I always love looking up tail numbers on things.
I wonder if somebody has the car still.
Yeah.
Oh, the car's still around, supposedly.
Yeah.
And that license plate, like that, I don't think they mocked it up. It's probably a vanity plate that might still be in service.
It's
like
probably the original plate to that car. Probably.
As an aside about aircraft, though, the Andy Sedaris Hard Ticket to Hawaii airplane that they're flying all the way through it, they actually fly it in multiple Andy Sedaris movies. That airplane still flies, by the way.
Oh, wow.
It was sold to a company in Australia, though, so it's no longer in the U.S. It no longer has that tail number. It has a different paint job, and that to me is like that grates on me. I need it back and painted up in
You need it back, but here's the thing: at least it's still being used.
Yes,
and it's still being maintained.
Absolutely,
it could be worse. It could have ended up in a scrap heap in like South Africa or something.
Yes, it could have, and it's actually being used by a flight school. I do remember that. So it's teaching people how to fly. I'm happy about that. But yeah, I love looking up tail numbers. For people that listen to Earth versus Soup should know that every time I see a damn tail number,
oh yeah,
I'm all over it.
So this movie, again, I don't know what else we can say other than it's worth watching for the stunts.
Yeah,
the stunts are great.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's one of those movies I didn't expect it to be as good as it did. The leads are all likable. I found out the guy that plays Drago was actually a voice actor in Red Dead Redemption 2 fairly recently. The guy who played Hitch, he died in 1997, but he looks so familiar. And I know he was cast specifically because he has a very distinct Southern drawl to his voice, which maybe that's why I recognize it.
Was it his name is weird. It's like
it's Hoke Howell.
Hoke Howell.
Yeah, like that. Something about his voice.
I'm looking to try to see what he's in.
He's in Phantasmagoria, the game.
Maybe that's where I know him from.
You know that maybe. You know what? You're right. It's probably one of those like FMV games, Mike.
Yeah.
But Drago, Ross Hagen, I know I've heard that guy before. And I was trying to figure. I'm just looking him up. So you said Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
So he's got to be older now, like old.
But yeah, I mean.
Oh yeah. He's born in 1938, so he's obviously playing like an old dude in those games. But I'm looking back. Kid with the X-ray eyes. Good Lord, these are like all those bottom barrel $3 VHS bin movies that he was in. Okay, he looks like he was in a lot of the Skinamax kind of movies. Midnight Tease 2, and he's probably playing like father or like detective. Yep, it's basically a detective or warden in everything he's in. But prior to the movie Avenging Angel, he was in that.
Oh well,
which we saw, and
yeah, he was in Angel. He's Urban Cowboy in Angel.
Yep. That's where I recognize.
That's where we know him from. Okay.
Yeah, Angel was such a good movie.
Yeah,
he's an angel, and he's in the sequel. So yeah, he was in. So that's why for sure we saw him, and then of course he was in like if you can name the show in the 60s and 70s, he was a guest star sort of thing.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Action USA, it did have a Vinegar Syndrome release that was limited to 4,000 units. Unfortunately, as of right now, it is sold out from the Vinegar Syndrome website. So if you wanted to track this down, you're going to have to go to local. You might find it maybe in a random store. You may find it on eBay.
You know what? If you walk into probably every Goodwill in America, you'll find the VHS tape
somewhere. Yeah.
Because it was released, I believe, by Front Row Features, which was that company that used to put out those tapes in SLP mode, if you remember. So the tapes weighed about, I don't know, 3 grams.
Yep.
But they could fit like 5 hours on the tape. And they were always sold at Walmart for like $2. So you can find the movie. You just might have to find it on VHS.
Yeah. And if you want to look on YouTube, I'm pretty sure it's available there.
Oh, there are copies on every video like YouTube clone site, because now you're probably not going to find the high def version. You might, but there's going to be copies of that VHS tape spread everywhere online.
Yeah, so this movie is definitely worth kind of checking out. It is most worth your time. And also check out some of Jon Stewart's other work. He also was involved in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So moving
he directed an episode. He directed the Christmas episode, Alpha's Something or Other Christmas.
Oh, that was on the VHS. That's right.
And not only that, there's a few movies he did that were not big Hollywood movies, but I saw, like, when I was clicking through them, I'm like, ooh, this one has like Lance Henriksen in it. That's got to be good. It's Lance Henriksen, Sharon Stone. I'm like, oh, they're like doing like the good B movies he did like stunt coordination on.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't direct anything that was good.
Unfortunately not.
But he was like the main stunt coordinator in like a ton of late 80s, early 90s movies.
Yeah. So like I said, folks, you may want to check this out. We think it's fantastic. Worth your time. Definitely our rental of the week.
It's a rental, not a buy.
Yeah, rental,
for sure. So our next movie is, like we said, we had trouble.
Not a buy or not a rental.
Yeah, this one is, you better be doing some strong fucking edibles or something. This movie sucked. I hated it. This is American Rampage. And I thought the idea behind this movie was kind of very action cliche, because this movie was cliche the movie.
What's the idea? Here's my question. What is the plot?
Okay, basically this girl goes through partner like people go through underwear. Whenever she gets partnered with somebody, they happen to die. And it's a body count movie.
This is Nudity the movie. Yet when the main actress gets nude, it's like, why? This is going to sound bad, but why is the least attractive woman in this movie the star, who also happens to be naked?
Can I hold on? I just have to tell you guys something.
That's personal opinion. But what I'm saying is I didn't think that she was unattractive. I thought the scenes she was in were weirdly filmed.
Oh, all the nudity stuff in this was strangely filmed.
Like nothing with, like, she gets nude in the one scene. It's not flattering. They don't do anything. Like they made a better effort of shooting the other women when they were nude than when the lead actress was. And I'm like,
yes.
Why is this scene so ugly?
You know what my idea on that is that she didn't want to do the scene, but was convinced to do it. And therefore they didn't really take the time to set it up. She's just like, let's get this done. Because note that this is her only acting credit.
And that, you know what that is? That comes across. So that's what I mean. I wasn't trying to make a comment about her attractiveness. I meant how it was shot made it look like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it was hot garbage.
But so I will say this: how the movie starts had me laughing so hard. It just starts with random store robbery, but the way the dialogue was, the way it was shot, Michael, was this like, this looked like it could have been cut from Toxic Avenger.
Well,
it was like a trauma film. Like how over the top the bad guys were. They're like, oh, I love my job. Your job is robbing people.
Oh yeah, like the weird guys who are like, I guess the two cartel drug people. I like the one guy in the business suit. The guy who never took off his sunglasses was a little bit, I'm the second in command henchman sort of vibe. But it's like this movie was also edited in a really weird. It seems like this might have been someone's first job at a college or something.
Well, I'll make two comments before you guys jump in, because they're just bursting out of my head. One, this movie shouldn't have been called American Rampage. It should have been called Miranda Rights, when the movie, because they just never ever announce that they're cops when they show up or read anybody their rights.
Yeah, they just start shooting.
They just start shooting.
They ran in. They're not even. They don't have badges. They just run in plain clothes and start murdering people in the store that have, like, the guys in the store. They didn't even say freeze. They didn't say stop. They just ran in and started shooting. And I'm pretty sure, I had to rewind, they started shooting the bad guys before the bad guys turned their guns at them.
Yeah, that's not necessarily wrong if they know that they're already a threat and they have guns.
But the store owner should have grabbed a gun and shot the cops because he didn't know there were cops either.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. That is true.
And number two thing that I noticed with this is, for all the horrible, terrible shit that this movie is, amazing squib work.
Oh God, yeah. The blood spraying on windows from like behind.
Some of the best blood and squib work I've ever seen in an action movie. Like this could have been like as good as something in like a Die Hard.
Yeah,
if not, but yet everything else was terrible.
There's that one squib scene where she shoots the shotgun into the guy like twice, and it blows like both of his kidneys out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The one, the guy at the end shoots him, and it goes below his vest and below his shirt and hits him like kidneys. And
the junkyard scene squib.
They squibbed him twice. So they squibbed him at the front, so it was squared out, and they squibbed it. They timed the squib so that it didn't blast out at the same time. Mm-hmm. So it hits the front, blood comes out, and then it comes out the back.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that's something you very rarely see for continuity in even the best action movies.
Yeah, that was really well done. But yeah, the junkyard scene where the guy gets blown away like 6 shots. Holy crap.
And she's carrying like shotguns that you'd see like Arnold using in Terminator.
Yeah. And the movie poster is like a super bad poster to represent the movie. Like she's in like a white bikini with this gun. I don't remember her in that. I'll be fair.
Nope. Never.
I watched this movie a half hour before we started recording.
I can't tell you much about it.
I don't know what the plot was. I just kept looking, and I'm like, is it like, did she have like 5 partners that got killed throughout this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's Body Count the movie. It's so ridiculous because her first partner, Ryan, I think that was his name, was kind of likable, and then the guy she gets hooked up from Homicide, I can't even remember his name.
Is it the black dude?
No. That's the second to last partner she gets.
Yeah, no, they're all completely disposable.
Yeah,
this movie's 75 minutes long, and she has like 5 partners.
Yeah. It's like single serving partners, right?
And the thing is that there is a police psychiatrist that she talks to. And they don't take her off the case at all. She has like these many partners just getting blown away right next to her, bleeding out. And you're okay to keep going on the case. You're fine. Don't worry about it. And she kind of like sucks it up and just starts blowing more people away.
And all this happens in a matter of days. Let's not forget that.
Yeah. And what makes me laugh is her. And again, I'm drawing a blank because they were so throwaway. The black partner, I don't know his name.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be rude or inconsiderate. Just I don't know his name because I don't even think they mention his name once.
I don't remember it.
And when he goes, they go to stop these guys from cutting up their cocaine inside of a factory. They don't announce themselves as cops. They just show up and go freeze, and then they just blast him with like a shotgun, and he just. And again, the squib was so good. He gets blasted apart. I guess they're in the factory that makes all the cardboard boxes because that's what it looks like.
So it's kind of like the RoboCop scene, just less impressive.
But again, here's the blood looked like RoboCop blood.
Yeah.
Like it was high quality. And I can't get over it. Like, why would whoever was doing the makeup and effects in this was the only person that cared.
Yeah. And all the care got put into it, except for the long, lingering 2.5 minute long shower sequence with Leanna Quigley, who played Trash in the Return of the Living Dead movie. So it's not like that's the first time I've seen her naked. But that scene had care in it just because they wanted to make sure they made sure her breasts were clean.
What this looked like was it was scenes like that, and then some of the violence. It was like this wasn't meant to be a movie.
No.
It was what it was they did make a movie, but it feels like they filmed. I think they filmed the final scene with the big shootout first, and as well as a few of the nude scenes, and they sent a demo reel of a few random scenes to a bunch of European countries and producers to be like, here's our movie, we're going to sell this. And then they got their money, they're like, oh shit, we actually have to make the movie for our legal commitments.
Yeah.
It was like they were using it as a reel to show what they could do, not that they actually had a movie.
Yeah, because one thing that I think lends a little bit of credence to your theory is the last shootout scene is really kind of fun put together, and it seems like it's almost like a shootout from the movie SWAT, or that's kind of what
it's like,
made me think of.
It's way out of place, and way more money went into it. And usually, I know that bigger movies might have saved their budget for the big ending, but usually when it's like a B and C and D movie, they use that as a means to sell international rights, because we know how canon worked.
Mm-hmm.
They would use one movie to sell the next movie.
Yes.
So like they'd have a name. They would even throw the name of the next movie in a demo reel when they were showing off. Here's a trailer for the movie we have today, and here's the title of 3 more that we're making. And they weren't making them. They would just use that as a means to sell something to Israel or sell something to Bulgaria. And they'd be like, oh, we just got $750,000 from Bulgaria. We can actually finance the next movie. And that's how they did shit. So I'm thinking it's one of those kind of weird situations.
Now, here's another thing about this movie. One of the other nude scenes is with an actress called Michelle Bauer, who was a penthouse pet in 1981. Mm-hmm. She's appeared in damn near every single movie that the director for this movie's made, David
Dakota. Yeah.
Dakota. She's been in 161 movies, and almost every single one of them is his.
I guess they're friends, I guess.
They have to be, because like it's not a romantic interest for him.
Yeah, because this person, as far as we know, is probably gay, which is fine.
Well, he's there's actually articles. He wrote a book. He's openly gay.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, I read that on Wikipedia. I'm like, usually you're like, do I trust what Wikipedia says? But then when you click on it, it's an entire conversation with the director from IndieWire, and he goes into his life and how he's openly gay and everything. So it's self-admitted. So this is literally one of those cases of she's probably just like one of his really close friends.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool. And I just realized something. So I'm looking up this guy's filmography. Do you realize I have a 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon with this guy?
You do personally?
I do personally, yes.
Wow.
I worked for a summer as a PR person for Charles Band. He got his first movie under Charles Band. More than 50 motion pictures. Yeah, for like over 20 years, this guy worked for Charles Band. He did some of the Puppet Master movies. So,
yeah, you could see the titles too. It's like early stuff was like
maybe
Creepazoids, Sorority Babes, Lady Avenger, all the stuff that sounds like 80s exploitation, and then bam, Puppet Master 3, and you start getting into stuff like Test Tube Teens from the year 2000. And you know what's interesting? He has a bunch of pseudonyms, nom de plumes, for all of his directing works. Some of it's under his real name, some of it's under a woman's name, Ellen Cabot, and then some of it's under, he has 1, 2, 3, he's got like 5 different names he goes by.
Wow.
For it looks like he goes by a different name for every production company,
which is weird. I guess he's just wants to be really prolific, and he also seems to do a lot of Christmas movies, by the way.
Well, and maybe in some cases going by a different name for your Christmas movies than you'd go by for your horror exploitation, semi-nude sexploitation films is a good idea.
Yeah, because
Hallmark and Lifetime might not hire you if they find out you made like 13 movies about 1313 horror films, right? Like,
yeah, like
they might go, you're not the right fit, and it's like, well, actually, I direct under a different name.
It's 15 different names.
Like, so for
is it 15 different names?
Yeah. There's a couple that are close together, so I didn't count them. Like, David DeCao, Disco Dave DeCao. I didn't count that.
Okay, well, so here, think of this, or look at this. There's these kind of movies that we just talked about, pre-Hysteria 3, all these horror films like 1313, Brotherhood 5 and 6, all these films. And then the Christmas movies are directed under the name Mary Crawford, Santa's Summer House, A Talking Cat, an Easter Bunny Puppy.
I mean, like, how would you feel though if
and then right after directing an Easter Bunny Puppy was Hansel and Gretel, Warriors of Witchcraft.
Puppet Master Blitzkrieg Massacre.
Let me see. My Christmas Grandpa and 6616 Warlock.
Bunker of Blood, Chapter 6, Zombie Lust, Night Flash.
90210, Shark Attack.
Oh, God.
These are like, he's done these like crazy 80s films and then does movies that are worse than The Asylum.
Yes, because I mean, outside of this, I have seen like Bigfoot versus D.B. Cooper, and that's one of his films, and it is amazing for how awful it is.
God. Okay, wait a second. I found something.
Oh, God.
Are you guys on his... Wait, are you... If anybody's listening too, pull up Wikipedia and look up The Pit and the Pendulum 2009. I will send you guys in the chat the link to it right now, so you can click on it.
Okay.
And get your reaction of the DVD cover.
Okay. Live reaction, folks. Live reaction.
So is that right there on the that's the first one?
Yeah, it's
the black and white?
No, sorry. If you go into the chat for our recording here.
What the hell is that? It looks like a Neil Gaiman thing from
the black and white thing. Yeah.
That was weird.
What is it? Is it?
I think you clicked. You gave me the wrong thing.
Oh my God! I did not. It links to the wrong thing. Holy crap! That's weird. Okay, well, here's what I'll do.
Hold on.
I will send a.
It's the one from new link. It's the one from 2009, right?
Yeah, it sent the wrong one. Here, click that second link.
What the hell? It looks like one of those weird novels you'd find at the dollar store in like the 1990s. It looks weird.
Wow.
So first of all, there's Edgar Allan Poe's The Pit and the Pendulum, starring people we've never heard of.
Mm-hmm.
They're dressed like they're ready to go to a 2003 nightclub.
It's very Twilight.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom, a film by David Dakota, and it's a picture of two greased up dudes ready to wrestle randomly.
Yeah,
wrestle.
Why is that there?
Well, I can tell you why. If you scroll up to the very top, what company put out this DVD?
Hold on. I will have to look that up. Just give me a second.
If you scroll up to the very top of the picture.
Okay.
Was it Rapid Heart Pictures?
No, it's Here with an exclamation point. I'm pretty sure that's a gay TV channel.
Oh, wow.
So that puts out, he does the gamut of everything from horror to children's programs to this, that, to like gay erotica. This guy does everything.
And
like, that is an amazing career. And the fact that he could do like 7 or even like 10 or 11 movies in the same year.
And it was distributed by E1.
Of course.
Because why not, right?
But
wait a second.
Like,
is that the guy from the room? The guy from the fucking room's in this. Greg Sestero. Oh my God! This movie's got everything.
The Pit and the Pendulum. This guy has made us fall down into the Pit and the Pendulum.
Look at this. My God.
That's what I'm saying. Like we joke and make fun, but this dude has done
everything.
So many different things.
That's amazing.
It's kind of no wonder he's going by so many different names, because the movies are so like diametrically different that how do you put that on a single resume? And like, if you're going to a company and you're like, I'd like to direct that movie for you, and they're like, they would look at your resume and go, what are you?
No,
because people like consistency, and they look at this and they're like, his resume looks so schizophrenic.
Well, he probably just goes to every company. I will direct whatever you want. I need a paycheck to pay for my cocaine addiction.
And by the way, I can shoot a 85-minute movie in a month and a half.
Not even. His turnaround times have to be less than 2 weeks.
Oh, you're right. It's probably 2 weeks of shooting, and then it goes into post-production, and he moves on to the next thing.
Like, that's insane. Like, this guy must never be home.
because it's literally like 10 to 12 movies a year that he's directing.
That's insane.
So it's like he works for 3 weeks, takes a week off, works for 3 weeks.
Man, you know what? We have a friend of the show now, Heinrich Kuto. He's the guy I interviewed for the Freddy's Nightmare podcast a couple weeks ago.
And he's directed a bunch of movies.
We should get him on the show at some point, I think.
And ask how long does it take to shoot an independent movie, let alone one like these. And here's the thing. These guys, his movies, these are not movies that cost like $10,000.
No, these
are movies that
they've got a budget.
If you're directing, like even like we're talking like Pick the Pendulum, it had to cost at least $1 million to get some of these movies made.
Yeah.
So he's getting like Redbox, minimum level Redbox budget kind of movies that are like $1 million, and he still somehow makes like that many in a year. Like he's more prolific than that crazy director that was doing all the really, really bad what do they call them, geezer teaser movies.
Oh yeah.
Like that guy was doing
Bruce
like
Willis,
6 or 7.
yeah.
He was doing like 6. Yeah, they were doing like 6 or 7 a year. This guy's doing double that on his own.
Oh yeah,
and not with a stable of 2 or 3 directors that they're rotating.
Recently, yeah. I mean, some years I can only count that he's done like 2 or 3, but I mean, still, that's crazy. That I couldn't imagine doing that kind of work.
And he must know so many people and casting agents for him to get such a wide pool of talent, saying, "I want this person, this person, this person to make this." And
I'll bet you a few of those low budget release houses that they're like, hey, we got a contract with Tubi, or we got a contract with Vudu, or we got a contract with Shudder, and it's like, man, we're like 2 films behind. Who can we get to get these out before Christmas or something?
Yeah.
And they're like, they'll have a short list of like 2 or 3 directors, and they'll call, and he'll be like in the middle of filming, and he'll be like, yeah, I can be done tomorrow if you need to. Just finish whatever he's doing and move on, because holy moly, like that. And yeah, it's like, it's quantity over quality, but I kind of want to see some of his random movies. Just like, I literally want to add them to like a Wheel of Fortune thing and just spin it and be like, I guess we're watching, whatever Talking Cat sequel he made.
Well, like I said before we even started recording, because I found a few of his movies. I need to see Beach Babes from Beyond.
All right,
I need to see this movie.
I will find where it's streaming or where it's on YouTube or whatever. We'll find it, because interesting. The reason we've gone off topic is his life is more interesting than this movie.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, like the most interesting thing I can say about Rampage USA. Okay, I'll say a few nice things.
You mean American Rampage, not
what did I say?
Rampage USA. You blended the 2 movies into one terrible concoction.
You know what? If we had the leads from the other movie, this movie might have been actually watchable.
If you had the leads and the stuntman from the other movie mixed with if you had the stuntmen from the last movie
in this
mixed with the makeup artist from
this could be really cool.
Yeah.
This could be
You'd have something from like PM Release Group, or you'd have like
the Ultimate Canon movie.
Like you'd have like some of the best early 90s direct-to-video movies, like, if you mix the 2.
I think American Rampage, I liked some, or actually I will say, like I said, the special effects work in this was really fantastic, really good squib work. Armory kind of stuff, and this is something that me and Aaron are only really going to kind of give a shit about. Not bad, not great. They probably just found the cheapest person, whatever, that's fine. Interesting guns for the shotgun, that was weird. And I love the ending only because it was like, really, that's it? She throws a grenade into a truck and the truck blows up, and that's it.
Yeah.
And the truck blows up, and then she reunites with the last partner that didn't die.
Yeah, I guess it's just
she's like Spinal Tap, but like cop.
Yeah.
Like it's what's missing from this movie, especially, were any stars. Like any stars that we really would know.
And there's
like,
no charisma.
I don't mean like it's that person. I mean, like, same with the last film. Like, yeah, Cameron Mitchell. That what these films were missing from like entering into like our consciousness, maybe would have been a little better, is like some other late 80s, early 90s direct to video hero, in quotes. Like, it's missing like a Nick Mancuso or like a Jack Scalia or something. Like, again, Frank Stallone. This could be like the first movie could have been like a Frank Stallone movie, and you would have been like, oh, okay.
Joey Travolta.
Joe
Estevez.
I mean,
or like it could have been like what was it? Stephen Bauer, the other guy from Scarface could have been in this, and you would have been like, oh, cool.
I mean, like the thing that I hated about this movie so much is that it was so bland and so forgettable. I said in our chat, it's like a really long episode of Miami Vice that was so tropey with a few more shots of nudity and blood. That's all it was. Honestly, it's bland.
It's 5-minute vignettes separated by violence and nudity.
Yeah.
So there's very little connective tissue between everything. Very little.
You could have taken away any of the actual plot from this and spliced in the violence and the nudity scenes into the first movie, and I would have been like, yeah, that's the same movie.
I mean, I also said this, and I'd like to get your guys' opinion on my pseudo taking this movie as it is and mixing it into a different medium. You could have turned American Rampage into an FMB shooter game, because at one point
I'm not entirely convinced that wasn't the original plan for this.
Yeah, like there's like
that like I was waiting. I'm like, it looks grainy enough. I'm like, did Sega get cold feet and we're like, no, this is too much sex for our CD game?
Yeah, because it looks like Lethal Enforcers at certain points. Like there's literally a guy who walks in and he has like a shotgun. He has this big 90s haircut and sunglasses, and he looks like the generic bad guy from Lethal Enforcers. And I got to thinking, this could easily be an FMV game if you just had the captain come in at the end of every level and yell at you, and you could
especially on the PC where you could get away without having a mature rating. You could release it unrated, right?
Yeah.
Or even in the first movie, one thing we didn't mention was there were a lot of shots that were first person perspective of the car, which you didn't see a lot of back then, because they didn't rig up, like the cameras weren't small enough to rig up like that as easily and safely. But there were a whole bunch of scenes like that. And all I kept thinking was like, when is on my Sega Genesis, when's it going to pop up on the screen to press the right arrow or the left arrow to avoid the cars?
Like, I don't know. I mean, out of the two movies we've watched tonight, obviously Action USA is the superior film. I think it's honestly one of those undiscovered gems.
It's an actual movie. It's just not worth buying. Whereas with American Rampage, see if you can find compilation of it, like clips of it. Actually, you probably won't find a lot of it on YouTube because it'll probably get struck down. The violence maybe, but like if you can see some of the cool action scenes, cool. If not, if you have a hard time finding it and you want to, it's hopefully there's more people like us or that maybe do riffs on it or like splice it up, because there are cool scenes that you might pull out and go, hey, if we're going to teach film school or we're going to teach like effects or whatever, you could use it as frames of reference for when you want to set up, because there are some shots that are well done,
for sure,
but they're only the shots where people are getting shot.
Yeah, I mean,
are well done. Everything else is not.
I know there's a 2-pack that you can buy American Rampage and something else on the same disc, and it came out a couple of years ago. So this movie isn't impossible to find, but do not go out of your way.
Yeah, I'm going to Amazon right now just to see what it's paired with, because that will determine whether or not it's worth it. Okay, so it's in Canadian dollars, so American, it's 38 Canadian, so 29 American.
Yeah, that's not worth it. Come on.
At $10, maybe.
And that is a 2-pack from Massacre Video on Blu-ray, American Rampage, and the other movie is Danger USA, which
that sounds familiar.
Which it has one of the most unfortunate covers. Picture of a looks like an admiral with a pistol that has a
oh wow yeah
with a you're looking it up. He has a pistol with a scope on it that also happens to be a red dot laser going through the glass of the scope.
Oh my god!
The car below appears to be a mixture of the 4000 SUX from RoboCop and the Terminator. What are they? The hunter killer, the helicopter hunter killers is like mounted on the right hand side of it. They have a woman standing there. I think it's a woman with what appears to be a hunting rifle that they've somehow made try to look like an AK-47. She's wearing a bikini that looks ill-fitting. Or is that a one piece? I can't tell because the text is covering it. She looks like she has 5 o'clock shadow. It's a very, very odd photo. Like, it looks like they took a photo and then tried to rotoscope over top of it and did a very poor job. But the tagline, "Hell hath no fury like an actress bent on revenge," directed by Eames Demetrios. I don't know. Either way, it's not worth the $40 Canadian for that. Not worth $30 American either. But we might have to look and see. I might have to see if this movie. Oh my God! I just, again, off topic, but I went over the photographs that are for this advertisement on Amazon, and I'm pretty sure that's Grizzly Adams in the movie.
Yeah. That's what.
Okay. So yes. Anyways,
so as we begin,
anyway, good Lord, this has devolved into just, oh my God, this. We've got off the rails because it was so bad.
It was terrible. So anyway, guys, here on the show, what are we going to be talking about next time? Because
Snake Eater trilogy, which are now these are 3 at least real movies.
Yeah,
because because they're three real movies. Because I know for sure the first one went to theaters, probably made nothing, but it has Lorenzo Lamas, which again normally people our age would go, who? Or if they're nerds, they'd be like, oh, the guy from that Renegade show from the 90s that was like the ripoff of all the other action shows of the 90s. Or you'd be like me, I'd be like, oh, the guy from the Air America TV show that was the ripoff of the Air America movie. But no, it's like he's at least an actor that people have heard of. Mm-hmm. And this is a trilogy. And it was made into a trilogy because it was successful. So I think we're going to see actual movies. I've never seen any of them, but I figured if we're going to do Snake Eater, we may as well do the trilogy, right? So
be looking forward to that coming up on the site really soon. So anyway, guys, we are going to close the doors to the Twig Video Store. We're going to sweep the popcorn off the floor. We're going to rewind all the tapes. We are going to disinfect the adult section.
My eyes. Disinfect my eyes. Where's our eye bleach?
So for This Week in Geek's Loose Cannon, we have been
Alex, the producer.
I'm Aaron. I'm Aaron Pollyea. Yeah.
He's Aaron Pollyea. I've been Mike the Birdman saying, be kind, rewind. We'll catch you guys again next time, right here on ThisWeekInGeek.net.
Are either one of these any good? Sir?
What?
Are either one of these any good?
I don't watch movies.
Quick! Change the channel!
You're wasting your life making shit! Nobody cares! These movies are terrible!
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.